Oftentimes when you are busy in your business or in your life, sometimes you just need time to freeze and to see what's going on and make a decision of how you want to move forward.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Erno Hannink. Previously, episode 1337 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 2 years, 2 months, 20 days, 4 hours, and 45 minutes since we last had that recorded conversation. That was then. This is now. Erno, how are you doing today?
I'm doing super. Thank you. Angel, and you?
I'm excellent. Thanks for asking. The last time we spoke, the podcast was kicking, right? And of course, you were doing it in Dutch for those that are listening. Well, 80% Dutch, 20% English, right? Because you have some guests on there from time to time. What's new? Tell me, what's going on?
Well, the podcast is still going strong. I'm at episode 230 something.
Wow. So that's 5 years now, right? If I'm not mistaken. Congratulations.
Thank you. And still also English guests. I just had April Dunford on. She's of the book Obviously Awesome on positioning. And I will have a conversation next week with Wendy Wood. And she's the author of the book Good Habits, Bad Habits. So that's really great. I'm writing still a lot. So I'm writing blog posts every day. And I do also a book a quarter. And I've shifted from a lot of focus on social media to business coaching with entrepreneurs that have a small business, right, with 25 to 25 people.
All right. What caused that? What caused that switch?
Before, I was focusing a lot on independent, so they work alone. And for them, often I was extra workload. So they had their own business and I was extra workload. And now the business owners that I work with, they have employees. So when we talk about shifting their focus to the things that they are the best at, so that they have to lose some of the tasks that they're doing now, they can shift it to their employees. And when you're alone, that's very difficult to do.
Yeah, it is. As well as I think, my experience with the social media world and helping individuals with it is that they see you as a very large cost that they can eliminate first, because it happens, right? Like business grows and then business drops sometime. So you immediately see, social media cut. Have you seen that as well?
Yeah, well, I think that was not my issue. The issue was more like that I was looking for a new focus on the sales funnel on social media, and trying to build a new platform on that, and not really getting off the ground at that point, and and looking for different ways of being more in workshops and getting more in contact with people. So instead of working with them remotely using Skype or whatever, now I have actual conversations with clients face to face.
And this is in the Netherlands, so
yes.
That's great. It's a great way to niche as well, right? Because no one can beat you to the position of being there in person like you, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, that's great. So I love how that evolved, because you were doing that in the midst of the social media online presence. You were hitting conferences and networking when we last spoke. So that has brought great results. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is. And the networking is not my favorite part, because in general, that means I have to be in a large group of people, and I love to be just in a small group of people. Or I speak at an event. I don't mind doing that. And now I'm just organizing my own small event with entrepreneurs.
That's wonderful. And again, to see how that's evolved is pretty fascinating. Now, there's a wife in there, right? Your wife, Monique. How has she been affected by what you're doing in your business life?
I think the most that changed for us was that we have a very stable income now. The coaching is done on a monthly basis, and most of them just hire me every month. So the income is very stable, and that is very satisfying, reassuring for her, and that's good.
It's important in relationships, right? The woman
Yes.
usually takes that safety, security part differently from the man who is hard driving and willing to throw all the savings at the mission.
I'm not sure if it's a really man-woman thing. It tends to be, but I think it's more like if one of them is more entrepreneurial and the other one is more like, no, I have to have a safe job. That is,
Yeah, you're very
then
correct.
you're in your you could be in constant fight about that.
Well, yeah, and I'm pulling from something that really resonated in the back of my mind, and it's because of my experience, which usually happens in a conversation. But yeah, I've seen that there's a guy called Dave Ramsey that taught us how to get out of debt,
Hmm.
and he was explaining that the emergency fund, when you build that, right, of 3 to 6 months of your expenses, that for the husband, the man, right, in this male and female relationship, right, it feels as though like he sees it as an investment, like a bigger, better deal that you can do with it. Meanwhile, the woman sees it as that security piece,
Hmm.
and it just resonates a bit differently from how the both see it. So yeah, that's where I was pulling that from. But you're very correct, because there are women that are very entrepreneurial, and it'll be the complete opposite. The guy
Yeah.
is the one who feels, hey, we should keep this here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for correcting that. No, that's wonderful. So things are growing. When you look back from today to then, are there any regrets?
Regrets. I don't think regrets are a good thing. I think there's always hope for the better future and things that you can improve. But regrets, I don't think is no. I don't have regrets. No.
No, that's a word that you are consistently pressing on. How important is that word to you, the word better?
I think it is very human to find ways to improve yourself or help others to improve themselves. And if you're not moving forward, you're like standing still, and then it feels like you're dropping out of the social group that you're part of. So becoming better is a very important theme for me. Yes.
Yeah, I saw that because I saw better decisions, better business, better decisions, better life, better
Yes.
decisions, more focus. Now, is that taking a time format? Is it something that you pre-plan, or is it something that you go with the flow and see how it works out?
Yes, I go with the flow. I learn from the conversations with my clients and see what issues they're working on, and I write about that. And I write that in my daily posts, and I use those to combine to a small booklet every quarter. So, I think it is a lot about habits, processes, and making good decisions. And oftentimes, when you are busy in your business, or in your life, doesn't matter. You don't stop to think about things and look back and evaluate what went well and how can you improve the things that didn't go so well. So sometimes you just need time to freeze and to see what's going on and make a decision of how you want to move forward.
Now, there are two children running around somewhere in the midst there of all
Yeah.
that's happening with you. How have they been affected by what you're doing, by both you and your wife?
Well, they are 20 and 23 now.
Oh, they're not children, they're adults.
They're adults. They are. And my son just moved out in November. He's still studying. And my daughter is also still studying, but she's doing like the practical part of her study right now. And yeah, they're doing really well. They have just grown up really nicely, despite of what we did.
Yeah. Is the entrepreneurial bug living in any one of them?
At the moment, not. No.
Yeah. Would you advise differently, or are you leaving it to spawn naturally?
Yes, that last one, because I think it's important to find your own way. I don't think that is up to me to say that you have to become an entrepreneur. I also think that I believe it's freedom, entrepreneurship. But if that's not what you're searching for right now, then it's not for you.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially if it's not what you're searching for, because my oh my, to be committed where you're doing any amount of hours as necessary and not like it or not love it, that could not be freedom.
Yeah, I agree.
So, my friend, this is such of a grand opportunity, and within this conversation, there's one question that I'd like to ask that really gets some people a bit uncomfortable, and it's that conversation of death. Is it something that you put on the back shelf, or is it a conversation that you approach in a way that you say, all right, I can or could die today or this second, however, this is the plan? How do you approach the conversation of death?
This is a emotional point right now, just because today, a year ago, my mother-in-law, the mother of my wife, she passed away.
My
so
condolences. I'm sorry to hear.
Thank you. So it is death has been a part, for the last year, a lot in our family, and for her, it was her last parent as well. So we're not talking about death, but we're talking about what's going to happen if you're not here. Maybe that's a different talk, but it has been part of our conversations a lot last year. Yes.
Well, I'm glad that you're facing that conversation face to face. I'm sorry that it's happening the way it is happening, and I do hope and pray that you all get on the better side of that. But what I've found is the individuals that are living purposeful lives are able to take something that's caused pain and not only help themselves, but help others who then go through that. So I do hope at some point in time when you both heal, when your entire family heals, that you'll be in that position, to help others that may and will go through that.
Yeah, well, what it absolutely did was also, again, point me towards the direction that I'm going to visit my parents more than I did before.
Yeah.
So it is a learning phase. It is a learning phase where you learn about the end of life again. You're running in a treadmill and you keep going, but now all of a sudden everything stands still, and you again realize, okay, there is an end to life, and how are we going to deal with this?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate you opening up and sharing this reality with all those who are listening. I believe it is so important to understand and reflect, as you said, Erno. Again, this has been a great pleasure. Before we leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Not really, Angel. I'm just happy that we're had a conversation again.
Yeah, I appreciate you as well. A pleasure I treasure. Erno, again, thank you for passing by. Thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.